Hey Andrew, sorry about that. My system crashed. Can you hear me? Okay.
All good. Yeah, you hear me?
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel. Dangle stupidity off a building, makes it beg for its life and still drops it anyway. I'm here for another debate with Andrew. Sorry about the issues there, Andrew. My system crashed, but welcome back to the channel. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Good.
Yes, welcome back to the channel. Right, so you were telling people that you wanted to debate me again. Do you have any kind of new evidence or anything that you'd like to present?
Just to basically cover what we covered, prove my point, and go from there. This should
Okay,
be rather
fair.
quick. Yeah, especially gyro. Discuss the memes gyro and all that too.
Okay, so you wanted
Memes
to
said
discuss a fiber
that.
optic gyro and how that demonstrates the fact that the Earth rotates.
I believe no, it's interference of Earth's EMR. It's the electromagnetic field. Is basically, yeah, that's the illusion. That's the trick. Um, yeah, well, we'll knock out the moon mission real quick and the photos that don't add up. I went through and I gathered the information as best as accurately as I could. And if you want me to send it to you, try to just post it on the phone. Let's see.
Okay. Hey, can you hear me? Sorry.
Silence.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
good.
Sorry, my microphone keeps crashing on me. I do apologize for that. Yeah, sorry. I heard you say that you wanted to talk about the gyro and then it cut off. So let's go from there.
Ah,
My bad.
um, yeah. Um,
Right. So shall I
well,
give
I
you
actually wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that last
Oh, you want to talk about that last?
out
Okay.
of
What
three
what do you want? What
subjects.
do you want to start with?
Doesn't bring this up again.
Oh, the fact that that actually represents the correct thing. Um, so what is it about that that you want to present?
So, so I went back through. Um, I believe this is after they would have orbited Earth and then started their ascent to the moon. That's the correct term. Now, this correctly displays. Now, this would be either an hour before or an hour after um, the other photo. So this is 3 days before the other photo. Guessing, but it's
Guessing.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of this isn't the best way to show all the information.
Well,
But I mean,
if you could email that to me, I can put it up on the screen. Yeah, sorry for the audio issues, guys. My bad.
it's nice and slow. Shit.
Right. So let me clarify what's going on for the audience. basically you are disputing that the pictures the astronauts took on the way to the moon coincide with what like timeanddate.com say that it should be showing, as in regards to sunlight and stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay. So he's just sending me the image for me to get up so I can display that for you guys. Last time I saw this image, it actually corresponded exactly to what we were supposed to see, but I think he said he's got one from a few days earlier. So I'm just waiting for the email to come through.
Visually, what you can see on the globe or on this, it's visually what you can see doesn't match the time chart. It doesn't match the daylight time chart in any way. And when you go back and look at the opposite of the explanation.
Right.
Closer to Earth, the more is the time charts, and then the further you get away, the more it doesn't match the charts. It's harder to see the continent. It's literally the opposite. You should be able to see more the further away from Earth you get.
I would dispute that and say, in all the time I've seen the images, they actually correspond exactly when you look at the right date and time and where the light should and shouldn't be. But have you sent that email through to me?
I think it's sent.
Just waiting. Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's. I think the launch date was around like 3 o'clock.
So this is the image you've sent me, and this is. Tell us what this picture is. When this was taken.
This would be shortly after leaving Earth's orbit.
I mean, do you have an exact time and date so we can verify the details?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, see, that's an issue. Don't you see why that's an issue? Because the idea of using like timeanddate.com to verify things means that you have to know the exact time and date.
It should be rather easy. It's I believe it should be third or the fourth photo they took too.
Just bear with me and could you send me the time and date that you're saying it doesn't match? Okay. So, I mean, I can't really comment on whether it's possible or not without knowing the exact dates of when it was.
Well, I mean, in just looking at that image, everything that is lit up on the one that is that I displayed with the time chart appears on the Earth. You can see all the continents that are supposed to be lit up that match that time chart lit up. And then that photo that was taken later on, it's literally the opposite of what you're saying. It's showing less instead of showing more.
Well, again, I need to know.
I know. So I thought it's only a short distance.
Time and date, so I can comment on it. Obviously, like, you know, if
well, you'll notice with how they took the photos, it's all synchronized. It's it gets standardized around 3 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, again, I need to know the exact time. If you want me to compare it to what it should show on time and date, I need to know the exact details. Maybe you could move on to your next point, and we can come back to this after you've found the correct details.
Yeah, I mean, all I have right now is the launch date, and that this photo was after it was a little more than a full orbit.
Right. Again.
So that's all I got. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Yeah,
so
again, my point is that timeanddate.com relies on the time and date, and if you can't give me those, then I can't say whether it would be correct or not.
Yeah. Correct.
So what was your second point?
Yeah. All right. No. Let's move on then, because then it's just a waste of time. Um,
Yeah, like you need if
yeah,
you
I'm
say you
not
have
gonna.
evidence, you need to
I'm not
give
gonna
me
waste
the actual
everybody's time with that shit.
details.
Yeah.
Right. So what was your next point? And sorry, everyone, I'm not
Suggest
on camera
everybody to look
today.
in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not on camera today. I've been really ill the past couple of weeks, so my face looks shit. So you don't want to see me right now. But yeah.
I'll feel better. Let's do. All right. I assume that most people here haven't seen a time lapse,
A
a
time lapse
full
of what?
day's time lapse of the horizon.
I imagine a lot of them have, as this is kind of the thing that we do.
All right.
What's your point?
Well, I mean, it exposes the lie, curvature, or even a curve, or even ever. It's not a plausible um, option.
In what
I'll
way?
show you after watching this. There's
Are you referring
with
to
how the atmosphere
Are you,
distorts
yeah,
something throughout a day.
yeah. And are you referring to the picture that shows the horizon kind of moving and bobbing in the distance as the day goes on?
Absolutely, yes. That would
Yeah.
be yeah.
So basically, you're saying refraction exists.
There's a lot more than well, I'm trying to explain. There's a lot more than refraction.
What do you mean it's a lot more than refraction? What else is happening? Because that is
That's
literally called refraction.
that's my issue with it all. Right there is it's just refraction in a fucking curve chart to prove your point. And like even the image you were showing me yesterday, you could see the boats, like the
Yesterday,
bottoms of the boats. Or not yesterday, yeah, right. Yeah.
the last time we
Month ago.
spoke.
My bad. Last time we spoke. You
Looking at the
could see
tunnel
the
you're
boats,
smoking.
the bottom of it getting cut off, but you could not see the curvature.
Well, of
That's
course you couldn't see the curvature because that is the point
why
of the.
you can see the boats being cut off, but you can't
Yeah,
see
that
the
well
curve.
that
Like
because
the
we're
whole
at
point
ground
is
level, we
just to prove
shouldn't
the
be
curve.
at ground level. We shouldn't be able to see the curve. You can see the effects of the curve, i.e., something going over the curve.
You
But
see the effects of the curve, but you can't see the curve.
yes, because you're too low down to see the effects of the curve. For instance, if you are tiny on a ball, you can expect your horizon around you to be a flat line, 360 degrees, because that's the point at which equidistant around you, the horizon starts to drop away. But for your point of view, as you look at it, it's going to be flat. Can you imagine yourself being something really small on a ball? Because that is exactly what you would expect to see. You can only see the curve when you go up high enough to kind of have the entire Earth in frame. But when you're at ground level, what you can see is the effects of curve, i.e., the bottom of things getting cut off when they go to certain distances, and no amount of zooming in or anything would ever bring them back. And yes, refraction is a
That's
thing, and
inaccurate.
that's why
That's the
at certain
inaccurate part.
times you should be able to see further than you would expect.
Okay.
But that's because refraction
Okay.
exists.
Okay. And then explain the Chicago Mirage, the
Okay,
skyline.
my question about
Hold
the
on,
Chicago
hold on.
skyline is
After what you just said, explain the Mirage.
refraction. As light enters a denser, colder medium, it bends downwards, which makes things below the horizon appear higher than they are. That is called refraction. That photo of the Chicago skyline, which is a very, very rare occurrence, 99% of the time you cannot see the Chicago skyline from the other side of the lake. But those particular times when you could was because the conditions were just perfect for refraction to happen. But what you couldn't see was the bottoms of any of those buildings or the shoreline in front of those buildings. If the earth was flat, you would expect to be able to see that.
Yeah, that's not true. The atmosphere is too dense to see it usually. It's that simple. It's that simple of a fact. It's you can't see it because the atmosphere is too dense. It's the atmospheric
So you
barrier.
say there's no barrier, but you are saying that refraction exists,
There's an
which is my
atmospheric barrier.
point.
This is what everything is measured off of.
Yeah, but you may not realize it, but what you're saying is refraction exists. And that is my point. Refraction exists. Which is why it's much better to
You're
have
just
things
calling
that
it refraction. It's not just refraction.
it is the act
No.
of light going into a denser medium and therefore changing its direction is refraction. That's literally the definition of it. So if you're saying it's because the atmosphere is more dense, you are, even if you don't realize it, saying that refraction exists. And yes, I will agree with you. But it's very strange that on most of the occasions, you cannot see those buildings that are 60 odd miles away. But
Then why? Okay. So why aren't you taking angular resolution into fact or
you
for
mean
account for?
alpha equals 2 times the arctan of g over 2r? I absolutely am, because that is how a normal person would calculate the angular resolution of something and how big something is supposed to be.
No, how would you do that if the horizon is constantly floating up and down?
Because then you are.
That's the whole point of the time lapse.
If you right,
you know
well,
what? Here,
wait. Let me explain. Let me answer your question for
play the
you.
time lapse for everybody.
Let me answer your question for you. What you do is,
Yes.
if you are measuring the distance to the horizon to see if it moves up and down, what you would also need to do is measure the temperature and the humidity as the day goes on. With those details, you can pop them into the equation that actually accounts for refractive index. If you have all the variables, then you can
I think
calculate
what I'm
it.
looking at right now.
All right,
All right, these are my personal notes. These are my personal notes. All right. So everything you're discussing with me, I clearly know. Okay.
I mean, anyone can
I'm not
copy and
coming from a
paste.
bullshit standpoint at all. These
Yeah,
are my
but-
words.
And no one's arguing that. But my point is, Andrew, that you are currently agreeing with me. That you are currently agreeing with me that refraction exists. However, if you get the variables, and if you get
refraction's not
Andrew, listen. If you get
refraction's not
Andrew,
mirage.
that's what the mirage is. It's a particular type of refraction
No,
that
it's
has
not.
caused the mirage of that appearing there. That's literally what refraction is. But my point is, Andrew, if you were to gather the correct data, i.e. the humidity and the temperature of the air above the water, you can actually calculate what the refractive index is. And then you can literally calculate what you should be able to see. All you need to do is have the correct data.
You're not understanding.
I fully am
You can be
understanding.
walking on a flat plane, all right, and due to atmospheric conditions, the bottom of an image can be cut off. You do
Why?
understand this, right?
Why?
Because of magnification, refraction.
Yeah. Magnification is actually part of the refraction. And again, you just said refraction. This exists.
You think it's refracting up a curve. That's not how I'm explaining it. We have two different
No.
explanations for
Whether you
refraction
understand
here.
it or not, Andrew, you are agreeing with me that refraction of light is a thing.
Yes.
Well done.
Without
we all agree.
You couldn't see.
And right. And do you?
You could not see.
Wait. Do you also agree?
See your eyeball,
Andrew,
therefore you can
Andrew,
see it.
Andrew,
Stop.
stop. Dude, do you
What do you mean?
Do you also agree that if you know the humidity and temperature of the air above the water, you are able to calculate the refractive index?
That is incorrect.
So you don't think that with the correct data you can calculate what the refractive index is?
Absolutely.
And do you have any evidence of that?
So you're
Because that
saying
is
this
a
guy
100% fact.
a mile out, this is gonna, and then the next mile, and then the next mile.
Yes.
Every mile after that, you have the calculation for refraction, magnification, lensing of the atmosphere.
All these things are
You have
refraction.
calculations for this? Because all I see is a fucking curve chart and then calculation for.
And if you go to Mick West's website, metabunk.com, and go to the advanced curve calculator, you can actually put in lots and lots and lots of details about the refractive index. Wait, let me answer your question, right? If you go to the advanced curve calculator, and you can actually put in all the details about what the refractive index should be. So if you have the details of the humidity and temperature of the air at certain areas, you can put that into the chart, and it will take into account those parts of the data and tell you how far you should be able to see. But there
based
is
on a,
that
based on a sphere.
based on the refractive index of air and the things we know about how the air works. And if you put these details onto a presumed flat plane, it does not work. Right, I know. One sec.
I mean, everything you're saying even debunks the horizon there.
Let me just address the chat. Hey, Andrew, one sec. Let me just address the chat a sec. Guys, I know that right now Andrew is asking the question, but that's cool. He said he's got a few questions he wants to ask, so I'm letting him do that, and then we'll get round to me asking questions afterwards. Okay? Sorry, Andrew, I just wanted to let the chat know that was the case.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
All right, yeah, so I agree with you that the atmospheric conditions can change the apparent position of the horizon. This is called refraction. That is literally what it is.
Now, can it change the apparent position of the object?
Yes, of course it can.
That's my point. There's no. How do you have a chart based off something that never gives you the correct view?
Because if you understand how light works and the way it would refract in
what's happening.
If it right, okay. So let's
especially when it's spherical. This what's the circumference? 2,500 square miles. If you're on a sphere that large, versus a flat plane, there is no way to tell a difference. This is why this debate continues.
Is. I mean, physicists would 100% disagree with you. The reason this debate continues is because you and other flat earthers fail to understand how reality works and how you can actually calculate it if you have the correct data.
So we're debating the spherical model, and we fail to understand how reality works. Come on, man.
You clearly do fail to understand how reality works.
Oh,
Andrew, you have just demonstrated you do not understand how reality works.
It's all I thought about my entire life, and you think I can't fucking understand?
I really do, yes. I 100% do think that, yes. You don't understand reality. I can give you the information, but I can't understand it for you.
I don't understand reality. You're telling me I don't understand reality.
No.
So I'm debating the reality that you believe.
No, I don't.
And you're telling me I don't understand reality.
Andrew, I don't have any beliefs. I don't have any beliefs. I don't hold my position. Andrew, I don't hold. Andrew, I don't hold.
All you're trying to do is lowball me.
Andrew, stop talking. I mean, I would love some of what you're smoking, but could you just stop talking for one sec? I don't hold.
Now it's smoking because you offended me. Fuck you.
I mean, I'm just saying that I would like some of what you're smoking because it looks fun. That's all. But what I'm trying to say is I don't hold my position because I believe anything.
Oh no! Oh, he's this. Look, he's a retard. Like I said, please stop badgering me. Stop lowballing me. Quit throwing me under the bus.
Well, try and make some sense and learn how a conversation works. Once again, I do not hold my position because I believe anything.
Watch how it works.
Yeah, that you have to stop talking and let me talk. Yeah, well done. Okay, so I don't hold my position because I believe anything. Andrew, I don't hold my position because I believe anything. I hold my position because it is the most logical position to hold. There is so much evidence to back up.
No, I am debating that status quo.
Right.
I am saying that is a false reality.
And you don't have any evidence for
Look at your fucking fake globes put it in the background. Everything is just fake as fuck.
Well, everything. Those are supposed to be fake globes. Andrew,
one little thing that has ever been presented. That's all I ever asked for. Is something that actually looks legit.
Look at this.
Present.
Look at this. 1 second.
Andrew, fucking graphics.
Andrew, stop. Andrew. Look at the screen for 1 second, okay? I had this made for a very particular reason. Because in reality, You do not have several 100,000 feet
The
words
reality,
and a moon
your
going
reality.
backwards with Anthony Riley's face on. I wanted that on purpose. You do understand that, right? But would you like?
You want
Would
to
you like?
install fucking people, put
Would
them
you-
on here, and make them look like fucking clowns to get off?
Oh no, you guys do that all on your own. It's fine. But would you like to see a 24-hour live stream of space?
You do that on your own. You can just debate the facts in a non-negative
Would you-
fucking way, and not call people a fucking idiot and tell them they don't understand the fucking reality you're trying to fucking explain.
I mean,
So how the fuck am I debating this shit?
because you don't understand it. That is why you're debating it. Because if you understood it, you wouldn't debate it.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're debating it because you don't understand it.
No, I clearly do though, because I have a
No,
degree
you
in
don't.
physics.
No, that's
and I
why you're
understand the
debating it
universe.
with me.
No, I'm debating it because you idiots
you
don't understand
that you're
it.
stuck in a fucking goddamn container.
Sorry, say that again.
You don't understand that you are in a fucking container.
Do you have any evidence that we're in a container?
Yes, I have 7,000 years of evidence that we live in a fucking container.
No. Do you have any actual evidence that we live in a container?
Yes,
Why do you think?
7,000 years worth of recorded fucking history that says we live in a fucking container.
It really doesn't, though. What is your evidence for saying that we live in a container? Do you think that gravity exists?
Do I think gravity exists?
Yes.
I think it is a EM. It's a electromagnetic phenomenon, but there is I believe there's an acceleration. Let me put it that way. Yes, there is.
An electrostatic voltmeter would disagree with
you.
you. An electrostatic voltmeter would disagree with you that gravity is an electromagnetic thing. There is an acceleration.
I never said that. Gravity isn't real. You cannot measure gravity. It isn't real. That's
You
why
just said that there is an acceleration, did you not?
Yes, there is an acceleration.
And that is gravity. That is literally what gravity is. Gravity is the downward force causing an acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. Yeah. That is gravity.
That is the heliocentric explanation. For the geocentric explanation is it's Earth's EM field, the same field that orbits the planets above. What's orbiting?
Because electromagnetics cannot replace gravity, mainly because electromagnetics is a attractive and repulsive force depending on the particular material. That is not what we witness. We witness a uniform acceleration regardless of the material. That gets away any thoughts that it's an electromagnetic thing.
Go rub a balloon on your head.
Yes, I understand how electrostatics work, but that is not an explanation for gravity.
Okay. Everything.
Right,
diamagnetic or something along those lines. Everything holds
diamagnetic. No, that's not true. For instance, lead is diamagnetic and would repulse from a electromagnetic force. So we would expect lead to go in the opposite direction that everything else goes.
Absolutely.
But does lead do that?
It doesn't move anything.
I don't think you understand what you're even talking about here, Andrew. I'm talking about gravity.
And the force that I'm explaining doesn't pull.
What force?
What force
are you talking about?
It's acceleration.
Yeah. What force are you talking about?
Rotation. It's the same exact speed you base the rotation of Earth off of. It's the exact opposite. It's now the rotation of the stars of the flat plane.
No, that's not what gravity is. And rotation of the Earth.
That's not what I was.
Okay, right.
That's not what I'm.
Andrew, you're a little bit all over the place. Right, Andrew, stop a sec. You're a little bit all over the place. All right, so I want to focus on one thing for a second. We're going to focus on the rotation of the Earth, okay? Because you keep kind of edging towards that. Now, the Earth observably rotates, and the way that we can tell that the Earth
observably. The heavens above you observably rotate. This is my big issue.
Nope.
Nothing about our reality says that we are moving We do not sense any motion at all.
Yes, you're talking about acceleration there, not motion. But my point is that the fact that we are on a sphere that is rotating in 3 axes is one of the most observable things. We experience this in the fact that we have
Was the
two
North Star in the
rotations.
same spot?
But well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the fact that we have 2 rotational points on the Earth that go in opposite directions. So, and that's impossible on a flat plane. The North Star is in alignment with our Earth's axial tilt, so of course it's not going to move much. However, it does move by about 1 arc minute every year. Maybe 1 arc second.
Well, if you never understand the atmospheric dome or the atmospheric barrier, you'll never understand
that
how
no such thing
stars work.
exists.
If okay, I can see you don't think it exists. So if you never understand it, you're not going to understand how the southern stars work.
Andrew, it's not
denying
Andrew,
a clear fact.
Andrew,
Show you. Would you like to look at Lake Pontchartrain?
Andrew,
What?
Do you want to stop?
What?
Right. And apart from the physical
I can
observations,
show you the evidence of it.
Yeah, Andrew. Every time I start talking, you start talking.
Always there.
Andrew. Right. Apart from the physical observations that we can make, which clarify that the Earth is rotating, we have the fiber optic gyroscope that shows that the Earth is the thing that is rotating.
Yes, no, it's assumed that it's measuring the rotation.
Well, no, that's literally the only thing it can be measuring.
It is assumed. There's nothing to verify that it's actually measuring the rotation. There's not one thing to verify.
The Sagnac effect that it bases its
been a month
mechanism
looking at
off
this
of.
shit. There's nothing. That's what I was trying to do to see if I had been fucking debunked, and I had it because there's nothing to verify that you're actually doing the rotation.
Right. Okay.
You are detecting something.
No.
It is not the rotation.
Oh, do we have to do
If that was true,
Andrew, will you shut the fuck up? Thank you. You need to take a breath. Andrew, shut the fuck up for 2 minutes. Take a breath and actually listen to a response instead of going off on your next crazy rant, okay? The actual operation of the fiber optic gyroscope, the way it is created, the mechanism it uses, the Sagnac effect that it bases its calculations off, can only happen if the object it is on is rotating.
Repeat what you just said. Repeat it again.
The actual operation of the Sagnac effect that the fiber optic gyroscope uses can only measure the physical rotation of what it is on. All right, I'll talk you through why if you give me 1 second. Okay?
I'd like you to repeat what you originally said.
That is what I just said.
You are dealing with electromagnetism.
No, because electromagnetics cannot bend light.
No, you did, and that's actually what I found in every single one of these gyros, or I said that wrong, and at least the accelerometers.
Right.
That's exactly what you're dealing with.
Andrew, you're going backwards. Andrew, shut up. Electromagnetics cannot affect a fiber optic gyro. Electromagnetics does not bend light. Light does not have a charge.
Yeah, it is. It is frequency. It is light. It's sound. Light, sound, frequencies.
They're very different things. We understand what light is. It's actually more particle, but you want to talk quantum mechanics, that's probably not going to happen with you. So can you pay attention to something for 3 minutes without talking and just let me explain to you the operation of a fiber optic gyroscope? Is that possible? All right,
I just literally spent a month reading about it, but okay.
Can I have your undivided attention for just a few minutes? All right, now watch the screen. Watch the screen.
It's not complicated, man.
Watch the screen. Don't talk and try to absorb the information I'm about to give you. Okay. So, in a fiber optic gyroscope, it uses something called the Sagnac effect, which is based upon c, the speed of light. As a fiber optic gyroscope fires the array of light at this mirror, half of the light goes one way and half of the light goes the other way. If the object is not rotating, the light path will be the same for both paths of light. The distance that it travels will be the same, meaning that when the light recombines, there is no kind of interference signal. However, if the fiber optic gyroscope is rotating, it will physically reduce the distance one of the two paths of lights has to travel, meaning that when the light recombines, you see an interference pattern. That is literally the operation of a fiber optic gyroscope. And the only way you get an interference pattern is if the fiber optic gyroscope itself is physically rotating. Meaning that if it's on something that's rotating, it's also going to measure that rotation.
Tell me, now, where did Michelson-Morley fail? Because he failed in this.
No, Michelson-Morley
where
did
was
not
the
have a
failure?
fiber optic gyroscope. He had a linear
Yeah,
interferometer,
yeah.
not a fiber optic gyroscope designed to measure rotation.
It wasn't.
No. The idea behind the Michelson-Morley experiment is something completely different to the
That's what
fiber
the
optic
whole point of the
gyroscope.
Michelson-Morley
No,
experiment was to detect rotation.
no, not at all. I don't want to have to go off on a tangent. I want to stick to the fiber optic gyroscope, but quickly, the Michelson-Morley experiment was not to detect the rotation of the Earth. It was to try and determine if there was a luminiferous ether. They designed the interferometer
Okay.
to...
You're right.
Okay, right. So we understand they're not the same
Yeah.
thing. You know, the interferometer was linear that they used and is not relevant when you're talking about a fiber optic gyroscope. But as I've just demonstrated to you,
Yeah.
that is the operation of a fiber optic gyroscope, meaning that it can only physically measure the rotation of what it is on, or if it is physically rotating. The interesting thing is that it doesn't just measure rotation in one axis, it measures rotation in 3 axes. And this demonstrates that we're on a sphere. Not only that, but if you leave it for a year, it will also measure the 1/4 rotation around the sun at about 1 degree a day, which, again, it can only physically measure what it is on.
Okay. Are you aware of what a rotor motor is? You know how a rotary motor works?
Yes, and is irrelevant to a Sagnac effect.
Okay, so if I put a rotary motor next to that with a powerful EM field coming off of it, you're telling me it would not
Absolutely
mess
not,
that
because
instrument up?
light does not have a charge. Therefore, it would not be affected by electromagnetics.
Light does not have a charge.
No.
Tell that to my fucking light bulb. Are you fucking with me?
No, your
What do you
light
mean light
bulb,
does not have a
your light,
charge?
the light coming from the light bulb doesn't have a charge.
There
Dude, the light coming from the light
is
bulb,
no charge.
it,
Wattage, amps,
yeah,
ohms. Are you fucking with
again,
me?
the light coming from the light bulb does not have a charge. What you are talking about is the physical circuit
It
that
does.
is heating up the filament,
The light,
creating the light.
actually coming out here and showing up here. Yes, there is a power to that. There is
But
a measurable charge.
It has a neutral charge. It does not have a positive or a negative charge. Light
Yes,
just
that's okay.
light just doesn't. That's a fact of light. And that's
But-
how we know that electromagnetics would not interfere with the operation of a fiber optic gyroscope, because light doesn't have a charge and would not be affected by electromagnetics.
Okay, well, I mean, especially with the Michelson-Morley, that was his biggest problem was the
No.
interference. Yeah, like, dude, this is literally what I was just reading. Every time I say it,
Again,
I just
can you tell me what the Michelson-Morley experiment was? I don't think you know.
I have it written right here.
Well, no, don't worry about looking at what you've got written. Actually, tell me from what you've been researching what the Michelson-Morley was and what it was designed for.
He was trying to find the ether.
And how was he doing that? How was Michelson-Morley, the two of them, how were they doing that? What was the method behind their experiment?
By displacing light. To see if you can displace light.
By displacing light? No.
Yes.
Okay.
In the exact amount you have.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what the Michelson-Morley experiment was. The Michelson-Morley experiment was designed to try and detect the evidence of a luminiferous ether. Back then, we assumed that light would need a medium to travel, so they designated this medium in space the luminiferous ether. And the theory was that as they knew that the Earth rotated around the sun, the theory was that as the Earth went around the sun through this luminiferous ether, it would create a drag, the same way that if you stick your hand out of a car window, you can feel the drag of the air. The theory was that as Earth goes through this ether, it would create that drag. Now, they knew that if that was the case, then it would change the speed of light at certain points. So what they did, they designed an experiment to be performed at 2 points in the Earth's orbit. And based on the speed and everything they knew that the Earth would be going, they would expect to see a shift in the interferometric results. But what they found was there was such a minimal shift, so much smaller than what they should have had if the ether was a thing. The only explanation was that luminiferous ether didn't exist. That was literally all the Maxim Morley experiment was for.
Or they didn't have it power good enough equipment.
No.
They didn't have
it's not like they had lasers or anything. Then it was actually some kind of magnesium-based light, I think. But yeah, that was the point of the Maxim Morley experiment, was just literally to try and to detect the drag on light that the movement through the ether would create. And they found that there was no such thing, meaning that the only logical explanation was that the ether didn't exist, and they needed to rethink a lot of the ideas around physics. A few years later, Einstein came along and proposed the theory of general relativity, which actually managed to fix a lot of the problems that Maxim Morley had created by basically getting rid of the ether. Okay? Right, so my question to you, Andrew, is if this can actually detect the rotation of something, why is it only detecting... Why is it detecting that rotation? What is it detecting if not the rotation of the Earth? Is he even there anymore? Have I been talking to myself? Oh, Andrew, call disconnected. I think he just ran away. I'll tell you what, we'll wait to see if he comes back. I'll read the super chats that I've had in the meantime. Obviously, NA sent one to me instead of Red's earlier. Says Red tomorrow, 5 a.m. debate. Really? And then Stephen Steen 199. Brainy Beaver smells like maple syrup and meth. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. Navy Tex 299. Will do his parents know he is huffing their paint? Better charge $2 New Zealand. 100% Poe. Kick him like a bad meth habit. No, I generally just think he's a bit dim. Stephen Steen 199. 381 people watching an idiot talk to a moron. Love you too, Stephen. $5 from Glitchy Earth. Flerfs are completely unable to conceptualize curvature in any direction other from left to right. Rangerman 9404. $2. I don't think a Flerf can calculate 1 plus 1. No, they cannot. We call it Riley math. Stephen Steen 199. Do you guys actually have your sound on? I don't. Oh, I love you too, man. $2 from Girthy Earth. Andrew clearly doesn't understand. And $5 from Girthy Earth. Andrew, on the flat Earth, why does the southern half of the dome rotate in the direction opposite than that of the northern half? Please explain. He can't. He doesn't even understand that he was literally telling me about refraction. I mean, he was kind of making my points for me. Oh, well, did you not know that the Earth, the atmosphere can create bending of the light? And yes, that's called refraction. Well done. Stephen Huxtable, $4.99 for a super sticker. Keep it up. I always will. Do not worry. I'll quickly give him an email, see if he wants to come back and finish this. I want to say conversation, but it's not really fair. Where did you go? So as soon as it got to the point where I was going to ask him some questions, he decided to disappear. Wonderful, huh? Oh, we'll give him a couple of minutes. I'll just say hello to the chat. How you all doing, guys? Thank you for being here with me as always. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to have my new video out tomorrow, which includes the first time I'm going to have sung for you guys. Yes, I'm singing. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. Thank you to Recovering Albanian for helping me with the lyrics to what I'm going to damage you with tomorrow. I'll probably be out about 11 p.m. UK time tomorrow. And it is called The Flat Earther Who Just Can't Stop Being Wrong. Yes, it's about Riley again. Then I've got a episode of Flat Earth News for Planner Walk that I'm doing. I've got collaboration with Professor Stick I'm working on. And I've also got my next episode of Stupid Humans, which is about anti-vaxxers coming up. So lots of things happening. And then me and team have some decent streams coming for you over for the New Year holidays. That's going to be fun. how's all your Christmas prep going and everything, guys? I've pretty much done all my Christmas shopping. I feel super organized this year. Feels good. I don't think he's coming back. I'm going to call that rage quit. Maybe he just couldn't get any more Wi-Fi on his parents' porch. But he really didn't understand anything, did he? Not at all. Yes, guys, I'm going to be singing, and I do apologize in advance. But it's going to be worth it. It's all for Riley. And if you didn't catch the stream earlier on Reds, I'm on the panel to do the nominations for Dumb Fuck of the Year. Yes, William calls out, I'm going to sing. So that'd be fun. Obviously, I'm voting for Riley, but there is a couple of other people I want to mention, definitely. That guy, Wonton, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, they're all pretty dumb fucks. Even Andrew is pretty dumb. Yep, I don't think he's coming back. So we're going to call that for tonight, guys. I appreciate you all being here with me, as always. Back to normal service in the next few days. Oh, no, wait. Andrew's coming back. Just in time. You there?
Did it go back?
Yeah, you went away. You went away.
Yeah,
right.
It froze.
All right, okay, so my point I was making is that the fiber optic gyroscope can only measure physical rotation. So what is it measuring?
It's Earth's EM field.
But light does not have a charge, therefore it cannot be the EM field of Earth.
Earth's EM field is not light.
Sorry?
It's not light. Earth's electromagnetic field isn't light.
Yeah, but light is not affected by an electromagnetic field because light does not have a charge. That's my point.
The interference that is causing that acceleration that matches the appearance of the rotation of the stars is the Earth's EM field. What is causing the rotation of the stars?
That was lovely word salad. The acceleration of gravity is nothing to do with the fact that we can observe rotation.
Not talking about gravity.
You just said the acceleration. You just said an acceleration. That is gravity. But that again, gravity or an acceleration has nothing to do with the observable rotation of the Earth. Now, I went through the operation of the...
How does it not?
Because the rotation...
Without that, it's not rotating.
No, there's no...
Gravity, if you don't have an acceleration...
Gravity isn't the reason the Earth is rotating. Earth is rotating because of the conservation of momentum. It's not accelerating. It's rotating at a constant 15 degrees per hour, which is half as fast as the hour hand on a clock.
Gravity, correct?
No, gravity isn't the reason Earth is rotating. The creation of Earth and the conservation
and
of
it's not Earth's EM field, right?
Sorry,
dude. I'm realizing you're denying everything.
No,
I have to see.
Again, right?
I don't think most facts are actually pulled.
What?
The debate. Like everything I really do look at is from your side of the debate, and when I sit here and I explain it, I mean every last thing I've explained, you just told me is bullshit.
Yes,
and,
because light isn't affected by electromagnetic fields. So the only thing that the fiber optic gyroscope can be measuring is physical rotation. And that's the thing. You can just turn it on and sit it there, and it measures rotation in 3 axes. And electromagnetics do not affect it. It's literally not how light works. So we're going to disregard that. So what are the other options? Why is it measuring a rotation? Andrew?
1 second.
All right, while you do that, I'll just read these super chats. $5.49 Canadian dollars for Nicholas Kincaid. Is the debate between you and Joey still on? Yes, the 9th of December at 8 p.m. UK time. on Simon Dan's channel. Jet guitar is $5. The filament has a charge, the beam does not. Stick a multimeter to a beam of light. I bet you can't find the grounding point of a beam of light. Laughy emoji.
Okay, you lied at your motherfucking ass, bro.
No, one sec. Night Fox for 500 Japanese yen, I think. Experimental results don't match my worldview. Scientists, my worldview must be wrong. Flat earthers, the results must be wrong. NANA, $666. Here is your real super chat. Love this poop emoji. Hell, Sagan. And $5 from Spike Smith. If the earth is flat, then why can we see further as elevation increases? What are the goobers' education level professional credentials? Yeah, sorry, and you were going to say, Andrew.
Light is an oscillating electric and magnetic field. It's an EM field.
Yes, but it does not have a charge. It has overall neutral charge, is the point of light.
Okay. Yes.
And if it does not have a charge, it will not be affected by electromagnetic forces.
And you know that how?
Because I have a degree in physics and understand how light works. If something does not have a charge, then it will not be affected by something with a charge.
Okay.
And as light is a neutral charge, it has no positive or negative charge.
Okay.
It therefore will not be affected by anything with a positive or a negative charge.
I see what you're saying, but you're basically missing the next sentence. Light does not carry any charge itself, so
Yes.
it does not attract or repel charged particles like electrons.
Exactly.
All right.
Well done.
Instead,
You've just proven my
light
point.
is an oscillating electric and magnetic field.
Yes, which does not have a charge, as
That's
you
what I'm
just
saying.
read.
It is what I'm saying.
If it doesn't have a charge
You're
itself,
not making the connection, or you're not.
I don't think you understand what you just read, because what you read literally only supports my side. The fact that light does not have a charge
The
itself,
electric and magnetic field.
yeah, with a neutral charge. And because it doesn't have a charge, it will not be affected by particles with a charge, like an electron or any kind of electromagnetic field. It just wouldn't affect the light because the oscillation, the net sum of it, is a neutral charge. Do you get that?
Which light? Well, hold on. Because now we're getting into radiation here. But what spectrum of light?
Well, visible light is only a tiny part of the light spectrum. But
Okay.
light itself, visible light, does not have a charge.
Okay. So you're
And as a fiber optic gyroscope is working on measuring the speed of light.
okay. So we know that radio frequencies they never interfere, and they can't interfere, correct?
Interfere with what?
Are abundant everywhere. There's constant bombardment of radio frequencies. This is constant.
Yeah, you said they can't interfere, but interfere with what? Can you complete the question?
Any of this equipment you're using, any gyroscope you want to bring up?
No, because it uses the speed of light, and light doesn't have a charge. Therefore, it will not be affected by anything that has a charge. Anything at all. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It will not be affected by anything with a charge because the net sum of the charge of light is zero.
Now, how do I verify that it's the rotation that it's detecting?
By the mere properties of its operation. The fact that the speed of light is constant, 180,000 miles per second, 300,000 kilometers per second, and based on the propagation of light and the speed of light, we know that it can only be a physical rotation in the gyroscope that is changing the length of the path that light has to travel. That is the basis behind the Sagnac. No, again, the speed of light isn't assumed.
No, that's not. Like I would accept it. Like I understand what you're saying. It makes sense. Don't get me wrong. Like don't think I'm just gonna trying to shut you down here. But all I'm saying is that's not actual proof. If I could do something else to verify that was actually testing the rotation. Like I noticed that with every proof of the globe. That's how it is. Like even with the curvature, you're showing me the ships go to the horizon, but the curve ain't there. It's something that's still
Right. Okay. So you want another proof of rotation, do you? You want something else that can also verify that the Earth is rotating, as well as the known properties of the Sagnac effect and the fiber optic gyroscope. Because I can give you other evidence that the Earth is rotating. There's lots out there.
I mean, if you're gonna bring it, yeah, go for it. Like pendulum,
Yeah,
quartz pendulum.
the one done by the gentleman physicist. Yeah, that's a bloody good proof.
EM fields.
EM fields won't affect a
Same
homemade
things, yeah.
plastic pendulum.
Plastic. Oh, that's okay. That's new to me because everyone I've seen
the-
is not plastic. Can you show me? Can you show me?
I'm getting it for you now. I mean, I'm pretty sure I showed it to you last time.
Yeah, that was not that one wasn't plastic.
Okay, this is from a channel called The Gentleman Physicist, a homemade plastic globe pendulum hanging with a plastic fishing wire. Yeah, we love what you do. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. So
That was not plastic.
no, that one wasn't, but this one is. Here's one that he's made himself. It's a big plastic ball attached with a plastic fishing wire with some carabiners.
Okay. Now, you do realize we're debating something that, if I am correct, that means these people have had a $1 trillion opportunity to fraud things, correct?
Yeah, this is just a dude with a YouTube channel that's got
even the
5,000 subscribers.
I don't just take their fucking word for it. I fucking do it myself.
I mean,
sure.
You've just completely changed the conversation there. Do you want to start again?
Oh no. Well, I don't know if I believe him.
Well, that's your issue. That's an argument from incredulity. That's your problem, not mine.
That's my problem.
Hey,
absolutely,
Nate in the chat. Reply to my email because we've got the Modern Day Debates will host us anytime that you're ready. So that is another evidence that the Earth is rotating. Whether you believe him or not isn't the issue. It is another evidence, along with the fiber optic gyroscope and the physical observations of what we would expect to see if we were on a globe, matching what you see in reality.
So you know that the natural wobble of this pendulum, it is the rotation of Earth, and you know this for a fact. How?
Because of the evidence behind it. What he does with that is using the angle that is created.
There's plenty of evidence behind it. I got 7,000 years worth of fucking evidence.
No. You've asked me for a particular reason why You've asked me for a particular reason why I think that is good evidence. And the reason that I think it is good evidence is because he used it to calculate his latitude on Earth. And he did it accurately. And it will work anywhere you are on Earth. And based on the angle that you get, you will be able to calculate what your latitude is. And it always matches up with reality. And it also matches what the fiber optic gyroscope tells us.
And you know this tells you you're on a sphere,
yes,
and not a flat plane.
Yes, because of the math that you have to do that takes into account the rotational period of the Earth and the fact that as you move towards the equator, you would actually get less of a drift of a Foucault's pendulum. So you can use what is it? One sec. The actual math that you do is the period of the pendulum, t equals 24 hours over the sine of your latitude. So you rearrange that formula for your solving for your latitude, and you've got all the details that you need based on how you would calculate that. So it's an actual proper equation that
Okay,
equates to
well,
what
I
we're
can
saying.
use a flat projection to travel a spherical object. So, like
Why
this,
do you
I'm
what?
just
You've just totally changed your points again.
not exact. No, I
Yeah,
haven't.
you have. You've just gone.
You're basing it
No,
on
no, 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 no,
location,
no, no. You've just gone for.
latitude, longitude.
No,
You're
you've just.
basing it on latitude and longitude. Hey, you can plot that on a fucking star if you want to.
No, you missed the point. Assuming that it is mapped on a globe that we say it is, then doing the math the way that you have to do it, you will be able to calculate your position, and that math will only work if you are on a globe.
No, it's around the North Star. It's all calculated.
No, a Foucault pendulum is nothing to do with the North Star.
It's no longitude, latitude.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, it is based on the North Star. That's
Okay,
what all this like.
I'm loving the amount of sound bites I'm going to get out of this.
5,000-year-old knowledge.
Could you just say that again? The longitude and latitude is based on the North Star. Could you just say that for me once more, please? Someone hit record. Go on, could you say that again?
Is based on celestial navigation.
What is?
How to get around your mom.
Okay. We see where it devolves with flat earthers once they are backed into a corner. They start going on with the personal
it's when you
insults like your
record
mum
me.
and everything.
It's when you do what you just did and try to fucking shame me as a fool. Fuck you, dude.
I just want you to repeat what
Fuck
you said, and I
you.
want to make sure that people are
that's some
recording
fucked
it.
up shit, man. I don't have
You- you-
fucking
you-
much places to fuck around. Don't do
You
that shit.
realize that you're being recorded anyway, as this is going to be on my channel.
Dude, this is YouTube. This
Yeah.
is
I'm aware.
yeah. You do realize there's over 100 CIA agencies operating on here, correct?
Lovely. Are you saying I'm CIA?
No, I didn't, but now I think you are, especially with how you fucking badger the fuck out of it.
Lovely. A guy that lives in a little village in Scotland is CIA. Brilliant.
You're retired military, right? Or
Yes. I am ex-military, yes.
What'd you do afterwards?
Sorry?
What'd you do afterwards?
I
Were you injured? Were you injured?
I was a project developer for a wind farm company after I left the Navy.
Okay. Is that it?
Then I worked at
What do you do
McDonald's for
now?
a bit after I lost that job because of my injury, and now I do this on YouTube.
Sorry about the
I mean-
McDonald's.
Hey, I needed a job, my family needed money. You do what you got to do, but it doesn't matter.
Money's there. Never going back.
All right,
And they
Nathan,
do spit on your food. No one if anyone's questioning that.
not when I was
At
fucking
all.
manager, they weren't.
Oh yeah. My manager
All
sucked.
right, Nathan, I'll get back to you on that. Yeah, but anyway, that's my personal job history is irrelevant to what is happening now. None of that actually matters because I'm just a guy in his front room talking about flat Earth on the internet, trying to raise awareness of what is a very big con that is preying on vulnerable and less intelligent people.
I thought we were just two guys having a good time.
Well, you certainly are with whatever you're smoking. Got to send me the name of your dealer.
All you do, that's all you can do is belittle other people.
Facts,
I just want to see the
facts ain't
positive.
believable.
Where's the positive?
The positive.
I know your mom raised a
LRJ88.
good man.
LRJ88. No, EM fields cannot affect light because light has a neutral charge. So yeah. So knowing that a fiber optic gyroscope measures physical rotation.
Separated these two things. You separated these two things and now say
I've done what
they're
now?
not affected. They'll do the same thing. Light, frequency, sound.
Irrelevant
fucking same thing.
to the fact that light has a neutral charge. As long as we know that light has a neutral charge, we know it will not
Oh,
be
I would
affected by
assume it's
electromagnetics.
why it has a neutral charge. This is
Because
why
that
you
is the
have a neutral.
nature of light. It is an oscillating
Why
wave
does
resulting in a net zero sum.
This is why it doesn't affect anything. This is why this EM field doesn't affect us, but it's rotating the stars above.
Again, all of that's irrelevant to the operation. All of that is irrelevant to the operation of a fiber optic gyroscope. Nathan Thompson, Natalie Thompson, Nate, whatever you want to call him.
Out one singularity to prove your point. This is what
Oh
all
no,
scientists do.
Don't worry. I've been working on a ultimate flat Earth killer that I want to save for Nathan Thompson. Nathan Thompson actually has just said one of the most sensible things I've ever seen. How high is this guy? That's another flat earther saying that about you. I'd say pretty high, but who am I to judge? But yeah, no, I've been working on a few proofs that haven't been brought up before. One that totally destroys the "you can't show me gas pressure in a vacuum," because I absolutely can.
I don't disagree with that in a vacuum.
Will you?
You talking about vacuum?
Right. Yeah, well, no,
I'm already
just...
going to debunk you there. Space isn't a vacuum chamber. Enjoy that.
I didn't say that space was a vacuum chamber. Lovely. I just said that I can now debunk the claim that flat earthers say.
Show me.
Wait.
Show me an experiment outside of a container. I'll start believing that shit. But until then,
wait. My point is that flat earthers always say, "You can't show me gas pressure in a vacuum without a container." I can. It's a wonderful thing called nuclear physics.
Gas pressure in a vacuum. Wait, say it again.
Flat earthers say that you cannot have gas pressure in a vacuum without a container. Obviously trying to say that the atmosphere needs to be contained. Do you hold that position? I mean, you're saying that gravity
to have a pressure gradient, yeah, it has to be contained.
Okay, that's wrong. I can show you anytime that you can have gas pressure in a vacuum without a container. One of my degrees is in nuclear physics, and I've done a lot of work and spoken
with oxygen.
I've spoken to a lot of actually in contact with a guy who's got a PhD in nuclear physics and works at CERN, and he regularly generates plasma in a vacuum chamber that are then injected into a accelerator. These plasmas are magnetically and electrically confined, meaning that there is just a ball of high pressure gas, usually helium or hydrogen, sitting in a vacuum with some clever electrical and magnetic fields keeping it together. This is absolutely a gas pressure without a container, as the gas does not touch any physical walls, and there is a giant vacuum chamber right next to it with no physical barrier. This is also done in current nuclear fusion chambers, but with a much greater pressure than he was working with injecting into accelerators. It goes to show that a container is not needed for gas pressure. Yeah, do you understand that?
Absolutely.
It means that
you can manipulate all of it. Yes.
Meaning that you can have gas pressure in a vacuum without a container, as long as there is a force acting. Meaning that I've just destroyed about all of the flat earth arguments.
Okay. Was it with oxygen? Or did he use certain gases to demonstrate the experiment, and then you can't actually do that with what we have in reality? With what this
helium and hydrogen are both things that are in our atmosphere. So yes.
What about all the oxygen and carbon and all this? Do you think he's going to actually be able to bow out, or do you think?
Well, you don't need to use. You don't need to work. You don't need to use oxygen in a fusion chamber, so you don't do it with that. But what it proves is that you can have a gas pressure in a vacuum without a container.
Well, I'll be here on Earth wondering how this oxygen and carbon isn't floating the fuck away.
Because there is a force acting on it.
A gradient pressure.
Yeah, but you understand a gradient of pressure requires a force, right?
Yes.
And
this is what I'm saying.
Gravity is that force. Gravity is that acceleration. So what I'm saying is that it is absolutely possible, and I can demonstrate it with papers, videos, all sorts. I've got so much evidence I've been gathering around this particular argument that
Because
you
I've seen none,
absolutely
and you just
can. Yeah, but that's because I have a degree in nuclear physics and I understand what I'm looking for. And it is going to demonstrate 100% that you can have gas pressure in a vacuum without a physical container. Demonstrating that as long as there is a force acting on something, it will contain the gas. I.e., there is a force acting on our atmosphere containing it. Gravity proven.
Okay. So,
Flat Earth
so you're
destroyed.
saying there's one person? Wait, what? No, you're saying one person, one proof.
No. There's a whole area of
flat
science
Earth is
around
destroyed.
this. There's a whole area of science
Oh,
around
there's
this.
science around it. Oh, there's
Oh,
science.
a lot, yes, because nuclear physics is a
This
science.
is the nuclear physics.
Yes. And it's not a new thing either.
Oh man.
It's just an argument that hasn't been brought up before against the flat earthers. And because I've been communicating with a guy who's a PhD in nuclear physics.
It's not
works
an
at CERN.
argument. You have to. You're saying this has been demonstrated.
Yes, in every nuclear fusion reactor in the world. LRJ88, yes. EM fields do not affect visible light because light has no charge.
Reactor. It's been just demonstrated.
Say again? What was that you just said?
Where is it being demonstrated in?
In a vacuum chamber. In a vacuum. About normally 10 to the negative 7
You
torr.
just said there is no container.
Yeah.
Wait, what am I missing here?
Right, so inside this vacuum chamber, okay, right in the middle of that vacuum, there is a ball of pressure, a ball of gas pressure without a physical
so
barrier.
A fucking container.
No, you're in a...
You talk all you want, man.
The vacuum is the vacuum chamber is creating a vacuum, okay? Space is a near vacuum, 10 to the negative 17 torr, which is actually a lot more than that vacuum chamber that I was just talking about. But my point is...
Oh, look, more shit you'll never fucking experience ever.
Yeah, LRJ88, that's not what you think it is. Sorry. Yes, so my point is that you can have a gas pressure in a vacuum without a physical barrier, showing that you don't have to have a container to hold our atmosphere on. That's my point.
So when you can display this like out in the front yard, you let me know. Until
just because I cannot build a fusion reactor in my front room doesn't mean it isn't real.
No.
And Nathan Thompson, a guy at CERN, made me aware of these things, and I have now been gathering evidence around it.
Notice it's impossible to do without it.
Yes, because of course you need a fusion reactor to be able to do this. That's the entire point. You are literally generating that ball of plasma, hot pressurized ionized gas, using electromagnetic fields.
I want to fucking shake you.
I'm sure not understanding things is very uncomfortable for you.
No, I keep telling. I will tell you again. Okay, so it's contained in a container. You've created a gas ball.
The vacuum is
of a container.
No, my point is that there is no barrier between the pressure. Listen to what I am saying. There is no barrier between the gas pressure and the vacuum. That is my point.
Fine. This is all contained in a fucking container.
The vacuum itself is, but there is then no barrier between the vacuum and the gas pressure.
You just know you're right, don't you? You just know everything you really think. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, well, I was sitting here thinking about that container.
Again, the point is that there is no barrier between the vacuum and the pressure. You do understand that, right? And that is the claim of you and other flat earthers. that it is impossible to
Oh,
have
but it
a...
is not.
Yeah, the claim from flat earthers is that it's impossible to have a gas pressure in a vacuum without a container, without a physical barrier between the pressure and the vacuum. But you can demonstrate in a fusion reactor that that is not the case.
Okay. You have the firmament, that's thinner, right? Below this is whatever you want. Anything that's creating that is absent of the gradient pressure, we'll say. Below this, you have the gradient pressure. Okay. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm feeling. I guess I'm feeling to see why.
What do you think
What do you think a gradient is?
What do you think a gradient is?
Atmosphere.
Yeah, but explain to me.
Explain the atmosphere.
Explain to me what a gradient actually is. I don't think you understand that word.
The gradient.
Yes, what is a gradient? You clearly don't know, so I will tell you. A gradient means from going from one figure to another, i.e. the atmosphere at sea level is 14.7 psi, but as you go up in elevation, the density of the atmosphere decreases, meaning that there is a gradient from 14.7 to practically 0 psi. That's what a gradient is a change in something.
Now, are you saying, now, do you think this is impossible in a container? Like, do you think this would be impossible on a flat plane?
To have the gradient in a container, unless gravity is still real, yes, there's no reason there would be a density gradient.
Well, the pressurized container is the reason you don't need gravity. That's why gravity can be absent. Because you don't need gravity, you just need point density.
Except that part of the calculations for buoyancy include little g for gravity, and density is only a scalar and cannot induce a vector.
No, it's 9.81 meters. Ooh, is it meters per second?
That's the acceleration of gravity you just said, yes. 9.8 meters per second squared. That's the acceleration of gravity.
Yeah, that's the acceleration.
Yes, that's gravity, the force of gravity. The warping of space-time causes the acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared, acting downwards towards the local gravitational vector.
It's not gravity. That's the acceleration.
That's what gravity is. Well done. Gravity is the acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. Well done. So if you're agreeing there's an acceleration, you are agreeing that there is gravity, because that's what gravity is. Gravity is what causes that 9.8 meters per second squared.
Whatever is defined as is what I'm disagreeing with. I'm saying that force isn't what you think. Everything that has to do with gravity has to do with an electrical force.
Except
everything.
Except that it cannot, because an electrical force would affect different items, different materials in different ways.
Do you consider something that is diamagnetic?
Diamagnetic means it will be opposed to a gravitational attraction.
Okay. Do you consider that something that interferes with anything that is electrical?
What, being diamagnetic?
Yes. Is that interfering with something that is electromagnetic?
Andrew, do you know what diamagnetic means? Can you define that for me, please?
Yes. It's basically the balance in between the field of, or in between the EM field.
No.
It's what can cause something to repel or levitate. This is the diamagnetics is basically what I'm saying is causing.
And no, again, that none of that is the definition for diamagnetic.
Let's look it up, shall we?
Yeah, please, because it might be important to the argument you're trying to make. We're going to go for about another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to be
calling this one anyway because it's been interesting. I think the issue is you've learned a few words, but you don't know the meaning of any of them.
Magnetic field is applied to a magnetic such as bismuth or silver. A weak magnetic dipole moment is induced in the direction opposite of the applied field. All right, that's the advanced version of my remedial ass shit that I said.
No,
This is exactly what I'm saying.
no, not really.
I'll post it up here.
Diamagnetic literally just means it will repel in the opposite direction to a magnetic force. It will push instead of pull. And my point is that as you are demonstrating, lead is diamagnetic, right? Which means that it will act in the opposite direction. If you're saying it's electromagnetics that are causing this downward acceleration, as lead is diamagnetic, that means lead should have an acceleration in the opposite direction. Does lead float?
Lead was up there. A piece of lead ain't up there. The piece of lead is down here. It's not affected by it. This is what I'm saying. Would be why you don't have a charge.
You're conflating things again, right? What I'm saying is the acceleration downwards that you've agreed that we have. There is a downward acceleration. If the reason for that was because of electromagnetics, the fact that lead is diamagnetic means that it would accelerate in the opposite direction of the electromagnetic force causing the downward acceleration, meaning that anything that is lead and salt water, it should all be floating, but that doesn't happen.
Well, it's because you're using water.
I was just giving you an example of something else that's diamagnetic.
Yeah, but like it's anybody seen the anvil floating in mercury? Bam.
Yeah.
That proves my point right there.
No. Really?
It.
Wow, that was the jump. Right, Andrew.
It proves my point.
It actually completely disproves your point. Now, I'm going to give you some serious advice.
Diamagnetics.
You need to understand the actual words.
You need to start combining shit.
No, the thing is, you've learned all these words and made a few notes with these words on, but you don't even understand what these words actually mean. Honestly, you need to research a lot more. Because you don't understand anything that you've been talking about. Even your own arguments are so ass backwards that they don't mean anything.
Listen. I'm not going to sit here and explain your point of view and then my point of view and then my challenge on each thing that I got to say. Okay, that's ridiculous. No one does that.
No, I'm saying that none of what you've been saying makes any sense because you don't know the meaning of the words you are saying.
I clearly do, because I just defined diamagnetics in my own fucking remedial terms, and you're sitting here telling me
pretty much wrong. You don't understand what it is in the first place.
I said I'm reading it again.
And
you don't understand.
You don't understand what you've been. You don't understand what you've been reading because what you read demonstrates my point.
Substance such as bismuth or silver, a weak magnetic dipole momentum dipole is induced in the direction opposite of the applied field.
Meaning that lead would go up when you dropped it. If you were holding a lead ball, right?
It's on top of the applied
wait.
field.
Let me try and explain this to you, okay?
You got to be up there for it to take effect.
That's not how the acceleration works, but if you just pay attention for 1 second, this is the final bit I'm going to go over before we call it a night, okay?
It's what I'm saying is rotating the stars and planets and everything above.
But you're also saying
obviously have to be up there.
Andrew, you're also saying it's what is affecting it's what is causing the acceleration that we feel down here. And the stars also aren't rotating at 9.8 meters per second squared. The stars appear to rotate at 15 degrees per hour because that's what the Earth is rotating. It's nothing to do with the 9.8 meters per second squared acceleration downwards.
You're
totally conflating these two ideas.
The stars appearing to rotate 15 degrees per hour has nothing to do. Yes, there's no way it's the stars rotating 15 degrees per hour. There's no way that's what it is. It has to be us fucking moving.
Well, when the evidence suggests that's the case, yes. That's why these tests have been developed. Because the things that
I don't know who the fuck supplied your evidence, but when I look to see who supplied the evidence, it's a bunch of power-hungry pieces of fucking shit who actually not families run the fucking world.
The gentleman physicist is just a dude with a YouTube channel with 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I wasn't referencing you. Ain't got shit, bro.
I mean, I absolutely do. Right, let me make my final point, okay? If the reason for the downward acceleration is electromagnetics, if I was to hold a lead ball at arm's length and a steel... Wait, listen.
You're reading these comments?
Listen, if I was to hold... Will you just listen for 2 seconds? If I was to hold a lead ball and a steel ball, both at arm's height, and drop them, if electromagnetism was the reason for things falling, they would go in the opposite direction of each other. The lead ball would go up and the steel ball would go down. Because diamagnetics, that's what the diamagnetics means, it would go in the opposite direction. As you just read.
We know there's an EM field, correct? And when you drop a piece of lead and it falls straight down, right? It's not affected by it, correct? All right, shut the fuck up. That's not right.
What? What you just said makes no sense.
Earth's electromagnetic field is the field that causes a compass to point north.
Yeah, and it's nothing to do with gravity.
We're talking about the lead and diamagnetic, I thought. Diamagnetic.
Yes, but you are saying that the acceleration of gravity is electromagnetic. And that would mean that the lead, which is diamagnetic, would go in the opposite direction.
Test for
what
is detecting these frequencies.
All right, Andrew. Honestly, you don't know what even you're saying. You're making things up. Nothing you are saying has any relevance to each other. You're jumping from subject to subject without even realizing it. All right. So we're going to call it a night.
No, I'm combining subject from subject because this is what I'm trying to get you to do is put everything together and stop singling it out to prove the point.
Hey, Andrew, if I have a triangle, Andrew, if I've got a triangle of sides 1, 1, and 1, what would the internal angles be?
60, 60, 90. 90, 90, 60.
60, 60, 90. Lovely.
60, 45. 60, 60, 45, 90, 95. I don't fucking remember.
Right, so Andrew, if I divide 5 by 0, what do I get?
0.
Goodness me. Andrew, is 10 to the negative 17 a positive or a negative number?
10 to the negative 17?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to add that. I don't know if that's positive or negative. I have to add it up.
Okay. Brilliant. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Thank you very much for that final soundbite there, negative. Andrew. I'm going to read these.
Negative. It's negative.
Right, sorry, so 10 to the negative 17 is a negative number, is it?
Yes, would you have any other fucking brain busters?
Well, you're wrong. It's a positive number. You failed.
Why is it positive?
Because 10 to the negative 17 is 0.0000000000000000000000001. That's still a positive number.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that I haven't fucking tried that out and I didn't learn it.
Don't worry.
That's all you've done. No. These are you're bringing up shit that you constantly fucking study. You're like, oh, you don't know this. At the top of are you
Andrea
serious?
for DFOTY.
Give me a fucking piece of paper to work with. Fuck you, dude.
Dude. Thank you for that. I mean, honestly, I think you've come here and embarrassed yourself tonight. So feel free to go away now. Seriously. Nope. All right, he wants to stay there while we do the super chats. Where did we get to? All right, we got two. No bod here for $2. Why are you abusing a handicap? I didn't realize that it was this bad. I'm sorry. Girthy Earth for $2. Craig, please ask Andrew to answer my super chat. He can't answer anything. $5 from Mike71. Can you explain a sextant to Shaggy? I wouldn't like to try. $2 from Virillion. This guy's higher than a weather balloon. $5 from Valius. Check the weather channel. It shows every day that high pressure areas can be next to low pressure areas without a container.
Holy
End
fuck,
flat
a fact.
Earth.
Holy shit.
End flat Earth for $2. Natalie is a failure. $5 Canadian from Rocket Scientist. Andrew, your birth certificate is an apology letter from the condom factory. $2 from No Doubt. Natalie is an idiot. This guy is just as bad. $2 from End Flat Earth. Good job, Flat Earth. We're all convinced now. And 200 Nokias from Mikhail Castle. Thanks. You're needed, man. Andrew, you totally failed to form any kind of coherent thought tonight. Thank you for coming here and cheering me up a little bit. I do appreciate that. Hey, Robert, low hanging fruit. You're right, but he sought me out. He, for some reason, was telling people that we'd already agreed to have a debate when I hadn't even spoken to him. So I thought I'd contact him and give him the opportunity to actually do it. I don't know what it is about.
We actually had agreed.
Andrew,
I had to give you the opportunity. You just said you'll give me the opportunity.
Yeah, no, but you were telling people in the chat of Nathan Oakley. You were telling people in Nathan Oakley's comment section that you and I had already agreed a date and time.
For the debate, and that this is my point of argument. That is literally what I was talking about.
No. You were literally saying that we'd already agreed a date and time to talk, which was a complete falsity on your part. So I don't know why you did that.
I did. Can you show this? Can you please show everybody?
Cypher Zero can happily post the evidence in my Discord because I've already seen it. Andrew, thank you for whatever that was. Please realize that drugs are bad, okay? Guys, I will be back tomorrow by about 11 p.m. with my new episode of Flerfs Are Idiots, Anthony Riley. Remember, stupidity, Andrew, this is for you. Stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.